Hello, lovelies. All right, I think we should be working and up. So today, in our Getting Back to Taking Care of Yourself series, we are talking about how you can start getting your energy back. So the last few days I've been sharing busting some myths, sharing like the biggest mistakes I see people making. Today I want to share a couple of truths that I think people don't want to face, but it's actually really crucial and part of the process of getting your energy back, to finally recognize these as the truths that they are and be able to take some steps around them. So these kind of they're not only just truths, but they're definitely like the most common mistakes that I see people making as well. So before I dive into those, if you have missed the Getting Back to Exercising and the Getting Back to Healthy Eating videos, you can go back and watch those. But of course, you don't really need to watch these videos in any particular order. It all depends on what your biggest problem is right now. So today, and before I tell you those truths, I want kind of this general disclaimer that I am not saying these things to try to discourage you or to try to make you feel judged in any way. These truths are definitely society's knee-jerk solution to dealing with low energy. And so, many of us, we follow kind of what society tells us to do. We follow the solutions that the people around us seem to use. So please don't feel judged. And definitely try not to feel frustrated when I tell you these truths, because I'm going to follow it up, of course, with some tips and strategies that will help, that have been tested over and over with my clients, that have been tested over and over with myself, and generally backed up with a lot of scientific research as well. So, all right, let's just dive in to the truth. So let me know too if you have tried doing these strategies before, and definitely let me know when I get into the actual tips if you have tried those strategies before and if you have or have not been successful. And I would love to hear what your experience has been so I can actually help you continue to fine tune these things. I definitely don't want to just give you a ton of stuff that you can just basically continue throwing spaghetti at the wall and continue wondering why none of it's working. That's definitely not the goal here. So first of all, the truths. Truth number one. All right. Truth number one. And this is I'm going to be in big trouble with society here with this one. Continuing to push and push and push and hyper-caffeinate is only going to prolong your problem of not having energy. And I know. And also, I know too, we are in a society where there is a lot of stress, there is a lot of pressure, there's a lot of expectation on us to be it all and do it all. So this is not me trying to make you feel judged or trying to make you think that you have to completely reevaluate your entire life. Not it at all. The truth here, though, is that continuing to do what you have been doing, especially if that's pushing and pushing and pushing and doing more and doing more and doing more and guzzling pot after pot after pot of coffee, I need you to know, and your body really needs you to know, that path will never, ever lead you to the solution of actually having energy. I understand if you feel like you are in a position where that is your only choice right now. I understand that, okay? I'm not trying to make you feel judged on that, but I do need you to know, and your body needs you to know, that at some point we're going to need to at least throw a few things in to start disrupting that path and kind of working you back towards actually taking care of your body. And some of the tips I'm going to share today too are definitely those things. They do not require you to totally reevaluate your lifestyle and change everything. You do not need to change your job. You don't need to change everyone in your life. Don't worry. But I need you to know that continuing to push and hypercaffeinate will definitely not get you the energy you need. It's a very temporary solution that in fact will actually prolong the problem and continue to make you worse and worse and worse until you finally are able to make at least a few small changes. So That's truth number one. Truth number two is, and then this is like, I mean, the whole health and fitness industry is going to hate me for this one. But truth number two is that intense diets, or I should say intense workouts, really strict diets, and the expensive supplements are only a very temporary fix, and they will often lead you to a negative rebound. So that's where, most people, when they start to clean up their diet, right? You shift from that standard American diet to actually eating more nutrient-dense foods, you generally experience that boost of energy, right? But, and this is a topic for another time, but a lot of people will actually find that they start having reactions to some of those other foods too, or they cannot maintain that diet because it's so strict and restrictive. Then those intense workouts, you can only maintain those for so long, right? You only have so much time in your life. And the reason why most people tend to come to me is because to really get the benefit out of those really intense workout regimens, you have to really commit to them and dedicate quite a good amount of time to them. And for most people that I love to work with, that's just not something we really want to do. We don't want to have that kind of codependent, obsessive relationship with workouts, especially when it leaves your body hurting beyond belief. So, many people do experience, some level of stress release as well as some level of increased energy from those workouts because you're forcing your body to adapt and get better and make more energy. But that particular type of workout, and again, this is one I could talk about for hours, that particular type of workout comes with it a very high risk of injury, which a lot of people will end up getting injured. They cannot maintain the workouts anymore. And then poof, they're right back to where they started and actually worse off. So they're back to not having the energy. And now they have an injury they have to deal with. And even if they don't get injured, a lot of times those workouts are so stressful on the body, and you're basically compounding the stress of your life, the stress of your job, the stress of everything with a stressful workout, and your body simply cannot handle that past a certain point. Your body will rebel, and it will force you to shut down, whether it's through an injury, an illness, or whatever. So again, these are very temporary solutions. Yes, you'll get energy for a while. You will not maintain it. I have never met someone besides the very genetically gifted who are just naturally built for those kind of workouts that could actually maintain them long. It's lifelong to have those results. So same with supplements, and I will talk in a minute. There is a time and place for certain supplements. It bugs me when I see people using them as a Band-Aid instead of actually getting to the root problem, because what happens if the company goes out of business and you can't access those supplements? And generally, you're wasting a lot of money on them. And there's still not the regulation that there really needs to be in the supplement industry. So a lot of times you're really not getting what you're paying for. And it's just problematic, especially when you can use the tips I'm about to talk to you about and get massive solutions, massive progress, massive energy from them. So let's dive into those tips. So ready? All right, tip number one, and let me know, be totally honest with me about how you feel about this first one. I have a feeling I know how you feel, but let me know. Number one is committing to getting a little bit more sleep and building up to 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And I know, again, I recognize that many people are in a position where they can only get a certain amount of sleep because they have so many commitments they have to do and be everything. I get it. That being said, almost 100% of the people that I usually talk to also stay up too late, binge watching Netflix or playing on their phone, trying to justify it by saying, I just need the time for myself. If you have the time to do that, you have the time to sleep. Period. And again, you're an adult, you're a grown person, you get to decide where your priorities lie. But if having no energy is a chronic issue for you that you are complaining about, and getting tired of it being a problem and recognizing that it's really having a negative impact on your life, at some point we're going to need to trade the technology for actually prioritizing sleep. Now, for the people who have tried that, I recognize completely that simply getting more sleep is not always the total solution, because we have such a high stress life and we are very well practiced at being stressed and functioning at a pretty high level when we're stressed constantly. And we actually really don't know how to calm down and not be in fight or flight mode. So when you are constantly in fight or flight mode, I get that it makes it really hard to actually get good quality sleep. So that's where prioritizing more and more sleep will only get you so far. Now, that being said, 7 hours really should be a goal, because that really is the amount of time that your body truly does need to at least process some emotions, heal the stress, heal from the stress as well as the physical stuff that have gone on that day, remove the toxins. Your body needs that time. Your body is doing a lot of really important things that will keep you healthy and functioning fully and really thriving during sleep. So I know many people struggle. They're like, but I'm not doing anything during sleep. I'm not being productive. That's society. Get it out of your head and recognize your body is doing the most important work while you're asleep, when your brain is not interfering, basically. So sleep is good. It's your best friend, truly. And rest too. And so I have a few more tips too, especially if you have tried to get more sleep or you're hitting that point where you're like, I literally can't waste any more time sleeping because I'm not getting the payoff, right? Now, the next few tips, take them or leave them, try them out. Let me know how they go. And these will all actually help support your sleep. So really getting that more sleep is truly the most important one, but then these others are going to really, really help support that too and really maximize the benefits. So the next one is kind of building on that first truth, right? Hyper-caffeinating is not the solution. And so actually being able to start, I don't want to say restricting your caffeine and alcohol, but let's say swapping them out for something else. Because I'm a huge fan of just adding something else in, as opposed to being we have to remove all of it, right? I love my coffee, love my tea, and I like my cocktails every once in a while. So I'm not going to tell you to cut it all out, but caffeine can interfere with your body's ability to even fall asleep for up to about 10 to 12 hours. So if you want to be able to be going to bed at a certain time, you want to stop drinking coffee about 12 hours before that. So swap that coffee for something else, even if it's just switching to decaf in the afternoon for a bit, but it will truly make a world of difference for your ability to fall asleep, I promise. Same with alcohol. Alcohol actually, while it relaxes you, it actually creates sleep fragmentation so that you're not going through your light sleep, your deep sleep, and your REM cycles the way you're meant to. It basically makes your body be like, what is happening? I can't do this. I can't do this. So if you can aim to stop drinking alcohol about 2 hours before bed, that's generally a good guideline that allows your body to enjoy the alcohol, but process it, get it out, and still be able to sleep well at night. Now, again, you can swap caffeine and alcohol things with something else. And this is actually where supplements can play a really supportive role. Supplements are a tool. They truly are. And especially when there's only so many things you can change in your lifestyle, if you cannot change your job, right? If you can't totally redo your schedule, and if you can't, you can only say no to so many things, right? And so when you've done the best that you can with these lifestyle strategies, having a supplement can actually be very helpful, especially the adaptogen supplement, the adaptogen supplements. Guys, oh my gosh, I can't say it. Adaptogen supplements. supplements that do have some research backing them. Many of these companies have them. The mushroom-based ones are really good for stress. There are really good ones out there to help with stress and anxiety. There's even things like, there's mud water, which has like a fraction of the caffeine that coffee does. There's just lots and lots of good options out there that will actually help support you in relieving stress and relieving anxiety and shifting from that fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. So, because that's really what you are needing at this point. If energy is an issue, is you really need to start switching from fight or flight into rest and digest more often as possible. So you can always swap caffeine and alcohol with a supplement that you have noticed really does work well for you. It's a great tool, especially if there's only so much you can do. So tip number 3, really, this one is massively supportive for helping you practice shifting out of that fight or flight mode into the rest and digest mode. It's simply taking breathing breaks or downtime throughout the day. And it can seriously be as simple as taking like 2 to 5 to 10 minutes here and there throughout the day to simply sit, close your eyes, and just breathe. Just detach for a little bit. Just put everything on hold. Recognize that like the building is not going to burn down in the next 2 minutes. And it's okay for you to just sit and breathe and just like let at least a bit of that stress melt off of you. And as you do this more and more, my clients have had the best success when we've implemented this about 5 times a day. So like once in the morning, right before each meal time. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe it's snack time too if you have a snack. And then of course, right before bed. And this makes a world of difference. It basically helps your body practice getting out of fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. And it helps you practice this repeatedly, so that by the time you actually get to bed, you aren't dealing with that issue of like, okay, I'm laying here, not falling asleep, guys. Like, what do I do? I'm not falling asleep. And that really helps. So this is a really good one, especially if you do have those issues with like insomnia, your brain will not shut off before bed. Taking these breathing breaks and even maybe journaling, processing it, talking things out, and just like giving yourself space to process and release, it can make a world of difference. So that is tip number 3. You could even take it, especially if chronic fatigue is like really intense, really overwhelming. You could even try working a nap in at least like on the weekends or the days you're not working. For me, I did naps for, it was like a week or 2 when my chronic fatigue was at its worst. I did naps for about a week or 2. I said, I'm going to have 20 minutes. I'm going to go lay down, disconnect, right? And just breathe. If I fall asleep, great. And I was able to create this space where I could just sleep, right? I didn't have to have an alarm or anything. But I would just sleep if I did. And if not, after 20 minutes, I would get up and get back to doing whatever I was doing if I couldn't fall asleep. But having that downtime within a matter of 1 to 2 weeks, my chronic fatigue was done. My adrenal fatigue was pretty much on the mend. It was really, really magical. It really helped me. So if you're able to do that, I highly recommend it. So next one, this one's huge, especially since we're in the winter, is getting some natural light. Our vitamin D levels are very integral to our energy. Americans especially are chronically low on their vitamin D because we spend so much time inside. So if you can get out, I know it's cold, guys, so if you can get out, otherwise you can get one of those light boxes. They're amazing. Boatloads of research at this point show that they're really, really effective, especially if you work at night or something. They're really great. But as much natural light as you can get is great. And then again, here's where the supplements come in. If you cannot get enough or you're really noticing an improvement in your energy, a vitamin D supplement may be useful. I do recommend checking with your doctor though, and actually having the blood work to see what your vitamin D levels are before you do that, because you don't want to like be like having like really high vitamin D level already and then adding to it. That's definitely not good. So consider that though. Natural light, time spent in nature is also very healing, and that natural light's really, really, really beneficial along with the vitamin D for your energy. So, and number 5, support those other 3 pillars. If you have been with me for any length of time, the big foundation of the work I do with my clients is having a very holistic strategy to taking care of ourselves. And so that holistic strategy is basically built on 4 pillars. So we've got movement, nourishment, energy, and stress resilience, or stress management at the basic level. So energy is one of those pillars. We're trying to get back your energy, but understand energy is going to be supported by those other 3. So gentle movement, not intense exercise, but gentle movement, like going for a walk, doing some yoga, gentle stretching, just things that move your body in gentle and pleasing ways can be really, really helpful without being like detrimental the way intense workouts, like they add to your stress, but gentle movement that detracts from your stress can be massively helpful and really accelerate your results. Eating more nutritious foods, nutrient-dense foods. And again, we're not trying to restrict here. I love, like, my general philosophy is like, let's just add in some more nutrient-dense foods. There's no need to restrict the other foods, okay? As you add in more nutrient-dense foods, you will naturally start decreasing the junk foods. So, but those nutrient-dense foods will actually give your body the building blocks it needs to make more energy. So more of that. And finally, really big one here, of course, because when energy is an issue, it's usually because you're not getting the rest you need, usually because you are in fight or flight mode all the time. Obviously, that comes from all of the stress that we're under. So any strategies that you can implement that will help you manage your stress, decrease your stress, delegate the stress to someone else, like anything you can do with that can and will help your energy. Just having those boundaries too, being like, you know what? I can't commit to that. I can't. Just saying no, delegating, boundaries, they're going to be amazing. That will help your energy so much. So that is it for today. Let me know how those land with you. Let me know if you have already tried some of these too. The thing with trying to get your energy back, this particular one, this is truly the most complex area where you really will benefit and probably get the fastest results from getting a custom evaluation and getting a custom plan. So especially if you are feeling frustrated and like you are really kind of stuck in a corner with this and you have tried all these things and nothing seems to be working and you feel like you're really limited on how much you can really do, I would really recommend getting in touch with me so that we can do a consult and then see how I can support you in really evaluating your lifestyle and finding those specific changes that you can make that will actually get you these massive results. So if that's you, please do reach out to me. Otherwise, let me know in the Making Sense of a Healthy Life group how this went for you, what you tried, and how this helped you. So that's it for today. Bye, guys.